My name is Adam McCann. I'm a director with Barton's Chartered Accountants and Wealth Advisors in Adelaide.
How long have you been in the industry, Adam?
It's a good question. I really started in the early 90s, but wrote my first case at the age of 15.
You're kidding me.
No, I'm not, no.
Well, how did that come about?
Part of a family business. I was working with my father at the time and thought the savings plans were a great idea, so sold them to a couple of my teachers.
Unbelievable! Congratulations to one of the youngest financial services life insurance sales around.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I don't know, but anyway, it was early.
So that was when you were 14 or 15. Did you have any other ideas about what you wanted to be when you were growing up, Adam?
Well, after that experience, I vowed and declared that I'd never go into financial services.
So what happened?
I'd worked with Dad for 6 months and hated it, and went back to school, did my matric, and then went on to university after that.
Okay, so was there a career that you had in mind? Was there something else? What was your path not travelled?
Yeah, so I trained as a commercial pilot. I got my full unrestricted pilot's licence and did all the commercial training and was ready to embark on a career as a commercial pilot. And we had the recession that we had to have, and so things changed a bit.
Funny how things work out.
It is, yeah.
Do you still have your pilot's licence?
I'm not current at the moment, but yeah, it's something that I've been threatening my wife I'd go back and have another look at. So.
Okay, so all airline passengers can feel relatively safe
they
travelling
can,
at the moment.
yes,
Adam.
yeah.
Okay.
No.
So coming into the industry, you've been in the industry since the early 90s, you
That's
said?
correct, yeah.
You've seen some changes in the industry, presumably over that period of time. Any stand out to you?
Look, yeah, I was reflecting on that the other day as part of a presentation I'll give here at AFA, but I think there's been continual change. I remember customer advice records coming in. We then had 2001 with the Financial Services Reform Act and the need to provide statements of advice. And it's just been continual. And I think, for advisors, you need to be aware that change is going to continue to happen. And it's important to then reinvest in yourself so that you can be adaptable to the changes that are there.
Okay, so what you've been talking about is regulation and compliance. Have there been other societal or community changes that you've seen in your time from the advisor perspective, Adam?
Look, I think there's been an improved perception of advisors in that the professionalism has continued to improve, but I think there's still a long way to go there as well.
Are there any ways that you give back to the industry, having been in it for a while?
Yeah, so over the last few years I've been heavily involved with MDRT, took on a role as State Chair for South Australia, and then last year moved into the position of Australian Chair for MDRT.
MDRT message for all the advisors out there that aren't familiar with it?
It's very similar to what they're talking about here at AFA, about adaptive change. So MDRT is an organisation with over 50,000 members worldwide, and you get along to one of their annual meetings in North America, and the essence of it is improving yourself not only as an advisor but as an individual.
Have you got a message for advisors that haven't been to the MDRT annual meeting as yet?
I'd say at the moment, if you're not clear on what your unique ability is, and you're seeking to get clarity in that space, there's not a better format to do that than the MDRT annual meeting.
So when's the next one? Where is it?
We're in Orlando, Florida, next June, from the 4th to the 7th of June. So we'd love to see, we normally get a contingent of about 100 along, and we'd love
100 Australians?
100 Australians. We'd love to see 150 along for this next meeting.
All right, fine. For everybody out there, I hope you're listening. Adam, back to you. You're kind of halfway through the year. You're through your career as in financial advice. You're evolving. What's your future, and what do you see as the future for the advice sector?
Look, I see that there's always the need for advice, and in terms of advisors, in terms of myself, you do need to continue to reinvent yourself. I've got clarity around my market space, and I guess my message to advisors would be that if you've got clear ability to understand what your value proposition is in the marketplace, regardless of economic issues or regulatory change, there's going to be need for advice, and I think there's boundless opportunity.
When you say advice, so you're talking a combination of eye-to-eye advice and robo-advice?
Look, I think so, and I think if you look at robo-advice, I wouldn't think it's something that as advisors you necessarily need to be threatened by. I heard some interesting research recently around robo-advice, and the organisation that's seeing the best engagement in that space is one that isn't pure robo-advice, at the decision point, they're actually using advisors, and they are now 5 times bigger than any other provider in the US marketplace.
Well, that's
so,
fantastic.
I think that speaks volume. People want to talk to people, and I think robo-advice is a way of engaging, but I think advice is about people one-on-one, whether that's over an interface, being a computer, or sitting across a desk.
Right, back to you, Adam. You haven't got your pilot's license anymore.
No.
When you're down tools and when you're not in the industry, what else are you doing?
Well, that's a big question. I think about that a little bit. I haven't got an answer for that at the moment. I think that's probably 15 years from now. I'm enjoying the journey, and I think a lot of people will focus on sort of that end destination. I'm one that I really want to enjoy the journey as I go along.
We've asked this question only once in this series of interviews, but what's your definition of retirement?
Well, yeah, I'm not a big believer in retirement, and I've just seen professionally some very successful clients retire, and it's probably the worst thing that they could have done. So I'm a big believer in financial independence. I'm a big believer in choice, and I think for me it'll be in a position where financially I'm not needing to get out of bed in the morning. I'm doing things because I want to do them, and I feel that actually I'm sitting in that position broadly at this point in time. So I think that's a fantastic situation to be in, where you can choose the things that you want to engage in, and you can give a bit back along the way as well.
Fantastic. So we've come to the end. It's a bucket list question to finish off. Have you got a bucket list? If so, what's on it?
Well, look, the bucket list is definitely get back in the aeroplane and do a bit more flying. But I'd also like to follow the Formula One circuit around the world. So that's one of the bucket list items.
Adam McCann, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.